Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Okay. All right. Good day. All right. You're all welcome to the DevMeet session for today. My name is Tosin Ayodele, and I'll be your host for today's session. And we have our speaker already here with us, and that's in the person of Roman Frolov. You're welcome once again. It's nice to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, so to get started, I would like to introduce some of the devs that we have here with us today in the form of a video. So Temi, please, could you kindly help us with that? Thank you. Jamie. All right.
Hi, my name is Ifeyiwa Onoka. I graduated from the University of Benin with a bachelor's degree in computer engineering. I'm an Android engineer and I have great passion for Android development. This started during my final year in university when I was asked to build an Android application for the first time. And since then, I knew I was going to be an Android engineer. Technology has made the world better through bright minds who have used their passion for technology to create programs that help every day. I aim to be one of such bright minds. I aim to be able to create Android applications that will help take humanity forward. I'm known to be a highly organizationally oriented team player as I make sure that the tasks that I do or the tasks that I am involved in are done to high quality standards. Because I believe in the saying that whatever your hand finds to do it and do it properly. When I'm not programming, I love to play games. I also love to read novels. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is David Olugbara. I graduated from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, where I bagged a bachelor degree in industrial chemistry. I am a full stack developer. I'm passionate about what I do. I use the .NET framework to build backend services and React to build great user interface and interaction. I am a deep thinker and love to solve problems. When I am not programming, I love watching mind-stimulating movies and playing football. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Hello, good day. My name is Diana Ikweri, a graduate of petroleum engineering from Niger Delta University. I've always been intrigued about software engineering, and after my service here, I started my journey towards becoming a software engineer by learning JavaScript. I'm currently a .NET developer who is wholly committed to building software applications in the most ingenious and structured manner possible. I'm a fast learner, a highly motivated individual, and an active team player. And I love the fact that I'm gradually living my dreams. To get unstuck and relieve stress, I play games and listen to music. Thank you so much for your time and do have a great day.
Hi, my name is Emeka Okoma, and I graduated from the University of Port Harcourt with a bachelor's degree in mathematics and statistics. I fell in love with programming when I first heard about the story of Philip Emeagwali and what he had achieved in the field of programming and computer science in general. And I was inspired, and this inspiration led me to where I am today. And I'm excited to say that I am a Java developer as a result. When I'm not programming or learning new technology, I find myself playing football or watching football. And I am excited about this programming career and where it's taking me to. And it's nice meeting you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mussini, a software developer at DecaDevs, an Android developer. I have a BSc in computer science from Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. I am passionate about products and people. I've always been curious about computers and computer programs since I was a kid. I derive satisfaction from solving problems. What I mean is, I want the things I build to actually help people. I'm a very creative person. I am a team player. I enjoy working with other people. I take ownership of any project I'm involved in because I believe whatever I work on is an extension of who I am. I am passionate about good user experience. I like to play the piano or write whenever I'm not coding. It is nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hope Mori. I am an Android engineer. So I have my bachelor's degree in microbiology, University of Benin. Why I went to tech, first is my love for innovativeness. So I like to try new things. I like to, open up new grounds, try out new stuff, and also being part of a community where we prefer solutions to problems using tech-driven ideas. And also I have a very inquisitive mind. I like to reason things are critical in finding or in providing solutions to situations or problems. Personally, I believe that as a team player, we can achieve a whole lot more together than we ever have done as an individual. And our intellect also, I'm of the opinion that our intellect should be geared towards making life better for people. And then part of my hobbies are I like to study, I like to read basically. I like to read mostly sci-fi books. Some of my best authors are Michio Kaku, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I also love music, genres like classicals and jazz music. So we'll check anything is achievable. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Timmy. So, Roman, these are some of the amazing engineers that we have here at DecaDevs. A lot more than that, but because of our time, we'll just be able to just have that very brief introduction. So you're welcome once again. You're welcome. And
Awesome, thank you. So many nice people,
yes.
so many stories.
Yes, exactly. All right, so could you please kindly introduce yourself to all of us so that we get to meet you?
Absolutely. So yeah, my name is Roman Frolov, and currently I'm working as a senior software engineer at Codesphere. But it all started a very long time ago. Back when I was 14 years old, I started to work at my mom's ice cream shop, and that's how my career started. After that, I spent 8 years working in restaurants, hotels, and bars until at some point I realized I watched a presentation by Elon Musk, and I was so fascinated by the idea of colonizing Mars, and Elon Musk is a personality. I read through his biography and learned that he has sold his first game at the age of 13. And back then I was 21 and I've never tried coding before. So I was like, man, I need to try it myself. And so I did. I wrote my hello world.c, enrolled into CS50 course on edX.org. Finished the course, then did some more self-studies, and then finally landed my first job in IT, which was a bit more than 3 years ago. So yeah, right now I'm a senior software engineer at Codesphere. We are building a cloud code editor. Basically, what we have on our local machines, we take it and move it to the cloud. We bind them together with all the cloud services that we need, databases, separation for environments, for development, all the different tools for monitoring. And yeah, that's what we do. We just launched in March of this year, and we're very excited about our mission.
All right, thank you very much. When you were giving the introduction, I actually looked forward to the part where you mentioned that dropping out of the university, and when I saw that, my mind went was if picture people that we know in tech today, that also drop out of the university, and they're doing amazing things, they're billionaires. So my mind went to was that was that one of the inspirations you had, or were there what really happened, or why did that happen? And when you look back.
Yeah, I think that it all started again from my childhood. I grew up watching videos about Steve Jobs and Bill Gates.
Okay.
And I always had this feeling that I want to be an entrepreneur. I never thought about being an entrepreneur in IT because I grew up with this kind of mindset that you have to be born to be good in math, which is completely false, as I know right now, but that's how I grew up. And so that's why I never considered a career in IT. And so when I was always looking for entrepreneurial opportunities. For example, back when I was 18, I found my internet shop. I was shipping some stuff from the US, like Under Armour, Nike, all these brands. I was reselling them here through like internet marketing. And yeah, doing stuff like that, organizing some digital like public pages groups, doing social media marketing. And then, yeah, I dropped out of university during my first year, actually, because initially I started studying hospitality. I did not really enjoy much studying it because I did not learn much through like half a year. And so I changed my specialization to finance and entrepreneurship. But then when I started to learn this specialization, I haven't encountered like any interesting topics to me. Like I wasn't taught any human skills or any management. It was so high level theoretical that it was so far from reality that I was kind of disappointed in my decision to move to that specialization. And so I decided to drop out, not having any kind of a plan. I just had my gut feeling that I can figure it out and like achieve it without university. And so long after that, I believe it was 2013 when I dropped out, and only 3 years later, I first tried to write a program and finally got my foot into IT. So yeah, and when I finally got into IT, all my dreams about being an entrepreneur, they all sparked with a new light. And in 2019, I founded my first startup, which is Tao, a project in electric vehicle charging market. And this year we made a soft exit by selling part of our software. Yeah, that's the story behind that.
Okay, okay, that's very interesting. Thank you. I was just curious. I just wanted to learn more about that. All right. Okay, so you mentioned now at the moment you work at Codesphere Incorporation, right? So could you kindly tell us like what you do there and what Codesphere is really all about?
Mm-hmm. Of course. So yeah, Codesphere is a startup. We started just a bit over a year ago, and during like our build time, we launched a hackathon, then we launched our beta, and fully launch our product this year in March. Our product is about cloud services. So we provide cloud code editor where you can write code, you can test it, deploy it, as well as all the necessary cloud services like databases, monitoring tools, domains, environment variables, like all the kind of stuff sits in your browser. So you don't have to buy an expensive laptop for, I don't know, $2,000. You can do all the development in the cloud, in your browser. Thus you can code like anywhere you are, no matter which tool you're using. So that's what we're doing at Codesphere. And I, as a senior software engineer, I develop infrastructure, I develop our applications, but backend services and front-end services. Thus, I'm a full stack engineer, as well as maintaining security of system, assessing it, like doing security audits, also answering our users, which also is an important part of our job because we want to listen to the feedback and we want to make our product for our users because sometimes you as a developer make certain assumptions about the product, but you need to test those assumptions, and getting feedback is very important. As well, I'm not only developing stuff, I'm also supervising a team of engineers. Yeah, we're quickly expanding. We'll be hiring many more this year and years to come. Our team will grow, and yeah, the coding stuff will get less and the project management will get more. So yeah, there's a lot of planning, a lot of architecture decisions, design decisions that come into place. So yeah, my day is basically maybe from 2 to 4 hours coding, or not coding, but development in general, 2 to 4 hours. And then the rest is meetings, planning, and teamwork.
Okay, thank you. Listening to you like outline all those responsibilities, I find it amazing. I think to myself, that's a lot of things for one person to handle. But I mean, I believe you're doing a very good job at it. And all right. So you started coding from what you said in 2016. So
Yeah.
if you look back from that point in time to where you are right now, you're a senior software engineer. What will you say is the major difference between the responsibilities that you have now and those that you had when you first broken into the tech ecosystem?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just looking at the surface, like when I just started, I was doing some kind of an internship, and during that internship, I was mainly testing software. So I was hired as a developer, but in the beginning, I was only doing testing, so I couldn't like break anything on production. But at the same time, I was able to learn as I go. So like I got a job. I did not know like everything, but I was able to learn it during the internship. So and that's what kind of happened after that. So it's like a snowballing effect. You get your foot in the door, you get into IT, and then you just keep learning. It's like the learning doesn't stop when you finish college. The learning doesn't stop when you get your job. Basically, learning never stops. It's just you get your foot in the door and you continue to learn. And that's how I was climbing slowly through that career ladder. So I was promoted 2 times during the first year in IT. And that happened mostly because I was always learning. I was talking to my teammates, which is very important. We're always exchanging knowledge. And I'm not only talking like about your team, where you're at, I'm also talking about like front-end team, like infrastructure team, maybe even business team, to understand the product better and requirements better. So I was getting knowledge from like everywhere, like bits and pieces, and accumulating that. And then I was taking more responsibilities. I was like very proactive. I was like with shining eyes. I was like, okay, we don't have anybody who is doing daily stand-ups. Okay, I'll do it. We don't have like, we need to do like more product development. We need someone from tech who can explain in simple words what the certain tech does. And so I was all in for that. And so yeah, you slowly start to take more responsibilities, and you show up. Always, I was going to job early. I was leaving late. I was always trying to push and do more. And that's how I slowly climbed. And then the rapid climb happened the next year of my journey, when I founded a startup. And being a founder of a startup is kind of like, you have to do everything yourself. It's like there is nobody on top of you, nobody who will cover you in case if something goes wrong. It's like you big and take full responsibility and responsibility you so yeah, if you want to learn something, just say it to your colleagues, and that will stimulate you to learn and do better.
Okay, that's very nice. So in summary, your ability to be able to communicate with the teams that you're working with, and your ability to take initiative and your proactiveness, so all of these things were contributed to you moving from that junior engineer to senior software engineer. And I must say, I'm really inspired that you mentioned that you were promoted twice in the first year when you started working. I mean, I think that is a very great fit, and there's a lot of inspiration from that. Okay, so another question that I have here is, what will you say is your biggest challenge in your career that you have faced, and what have you learned from that challenge?
Biggest challenge. That's interesting. Like what I can say one thing that is funny, that it's counterintuitive. Like the hard skills were never that challenge. So there was never a problem that I wasn't able to solve, or some technical skill that was an obstacle. It was mainly I think the soft skills like time management or like emotional intelligence or like teamwork that was kind of hard. It's like, especially in startup, when you're working in this fast-paced environment, you have to make big decisions very fast. You have to use critical thinking and you have to be patient, and it all comes at the same time. So staying patient, staying collected is really hard. And it's like, maybe it's easy when you're doing it for a week, but when you're like living for a year in such environment, it's kind of, yeah, it's a pressure. And so if you can find yourself in such a stable mental state and keeping it, then you're doing great. And that's a hard thing to do. It's like, remember, it's not a sprint that we're doing, it's a marathon. So yeah, get ready to run for a long time.
Okay, all right, thank you. Then, so now as a senior software engineer, so I read in your profile where you mentioned that you supervise a diverse team of engineers. So you get to like coordinate their roles and things like that. So like, I would like to know what it is like, managing people that have, diverse backgrounds.
Yeah, you basically get to know everyone in your team. So you do a lot of one-on-ones, basically calls with every single person. You want to know their personality, you want to know their skills, and you want to give them something that they are interested in, and also that will benefit their knowledge and their skills. So I had very diverse teams. I had some very experienced engineers, and at the same time, I had those who are just getting started. And there in the project, especially in a startup, there are a lot of tasks to do. And it was never a problem to find something that suits person's skills, because there are always really hard challenges and some, for example, like UI improvements that can be done. And so if someone comes very fresh, you can onboard them, help them through, go through this like level of difficulty of tasks, and help them along the way. Of course, the more junior the engineer is, usually takes more of your time, but at the same time, sometimes there are exceptions and people just are very fast learners.
Okay, thank you. So please, if anyone has any questions for Roman, please, you can kindly put that in the chat. I'll read your questions and I will have him take them. All right, so thank you. All right, so Roman, I mean, I've been having a very nice time like chatting with you and getting to get you to speak about your career and the things that you've learned so far. So another question that I do have is, what are the mistakes that you think you've made? All right, and what do you know now that you wish you knew in the beginning? Like what are the things that you have come to realize that you wish like you knew from the start when you started your programming journey? We would just like to learn from this.
Okay. I think that kind of being more focused is definitely a good thing. Like becoming master of a certain tech definitely helps you. For example, like the common mistake is like when you get your first job or even before that, you start learning all the different technologies. And so you're kind of all over the place, but you don't know like a single one to a very good degree. So one like mistake that I made, but I was fortunate enough to kind of fix that later, was I wasn't like fixed on a particular technology enough. So I was kind of a bit shaky. I wasn't feeling very comfortable in the industry until the moment I finally understood what I want exactly. And then I focused. For example, for me, it was like I was going all over the place with the languages. I was like, I did Solidity, I did Python, I did like C, C++, Go, Rust. And then I was like, what do I want? Like, where should I land? Because I know everything a little bit, but I don't know like one language to a certain extent that I'm comfortable with. And so I ended up picking up Node.js, and I haven't regretted this decision till this day. So yeah, decide what you're interested in and stay in your area and get really good at it.
Okay, all right, thank you. So one of the other things that I also noticed on your profile was that you participated in an hackathon. I think that's Hack Moscow, and you are the winner. And then I tried to look at the timeline between when you started programming, and I mean that timeline from like when you started programming and you being able to win that kind of competition. So could you tell us more about that competition and what it was you worked on, and what the factors that were responsible for you to from when you had the solution as an idea and you implementing it?
Sure. So yeah, the story with hackathons is pretty like it's one of my favorite stories actually. Like I started participating in hackathons only after I landed a job. Unfortunately, like if you can participate in hackathons, you definitely should even before you get a job. So I first started when I got a job. I think it was like maybe 1 or 2 months after I got a job, and in 1 year, I participated in around 10 events. So I participated in 10 hackathons, and I won 3 of them actually, with this placing second on the Olympiad, like a fintech Russian Olympiad. So the main learnings from that is that basically, first of all, teamwork. Like teamwork is very important. And hackathons, they basically stimulate you to use critical thinking, to go out of your comfort zone, and like getting this responsibility that I was talking earlier about, and finishing up the product. For example, many developers do personal projects, but sometimes they don't get finished. But when you're on a hackathon, you get committed, you get this project, and you finish it in a very short amount of time, which is usually 1 or 2 days. And so that's really incredible. That's when cool things happen. And yeah, we were able to win 3 times. First one was the blockchain hackathon. We mainly won because we found bugs in the system that nobody ever found before. So we were like doing pretty decent testing of it. The second hackathon was in IoT, Internet of Things. And we assembled a team just 1 day before the event. So we met each other on the event itself for the first time in our lives. Our idea for the product was a network for charging stations for electric vehicles. And we built this product in 2 days using like mobile app, backend, and IoT technologies. So it was all connected together. And yeah, we were able to pitch it and demonstrate our product and win the hackathon. And that's how actually the idea of DAO, a startup that we founded later, that's how this idea originated. And the third one that you were referring to, which is Hack Moscow, that was me being a solo team and participating in a CTF, which stands for Capture the Flag. This is an abbreviation for a hacker track. That's when you have to break into some program and be the first one to do it. And for that, you get points. And so, yeah, I participated in it and I used the knowledge that I have. That was pretty intense. Like on other hackathons, it's always intense on hackathons because you're very short on time. But when you're on CTF, it is double intense because you don't only have 2 days and you have to build something, you have to be the first one to do it. So you're kind of under pressure all the time. And it was a funny story. It's like first day I got in front of everyone in terms of points. Then I went to sleep and woke up at around 7 a.m. And I was behind 2 or 3 teams. And I was like, I need to keep up with them. And so luckily enough, they apparently were sleeping. And so while they were sleeping, I was working hard, and that's how I got to the top 1. Yeah, and when I won this hackathon, and basically it actually applies to all the hackathons I participated in, I always got job offers there. And of course, when you win, you get just more of them. And I believe like from one hackathon, it's usually around like 3 job offers. So yeah, also a good way to start your career as well and find opportunities.
Okay. Sounds interesting. So like when you were working on all these hackathons and all these projects, was there any point in time that you had imposter syndrome? And if you did, like how did you work your way around it?
I definitely had the imposter syndrome at my first job. So yeah, when I did my first job, I had a very strong imposter syndrome to the extent that when I heard any new term, I was writing it down because I was always thinking I'm not good enough. I need to get better. I need to get better. So when my colleagues were talking somewhere like near the kitchenette, I was hearing some new terms. I was writing them down. And so when I was going back home after a day at job, I was researching all these terms and like figuring out the tech behind them. So I was like growing my knowledge base and I was learning. And while doing so, as the time passed, the imposter syndrome got less and less. Yeah, that's how I dealt with it, through a lot of learning. But also an important part is talking to other people, staying connected with your family, friends, your coworkers. That helps a lot because we all deal with kind of same issues. So you're not alone. Just talk to other people.
Okay, all right. Because as people that are just trying to break out into the tech ecosystem, we struggle with that a lot. So I just felt that we could pick one or two things to help us like be better with it and just not let it keep us down. All right. So just a reminder for those that are just joining us, please, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat or raise your hand and you'll be called upon to ask your question. All right. So Roman, I believe that when you work with people and the more they are, the higher the chances for conflict, the higher the chances for differences in opinions on the way things should be done, even though you are the one still like supervising. So like, how are you able to handle conflict within your team, and how are you able to, when you find team members that are for lack of a better word, stubborn or really do not like are not really aligning to the vision you have in mind. Let's say, for example, for a project. So how do you go about, trying to, resolve that conflict and just make sure that everybody is on track? I know you have the goal of the project. You are fixed on like the project being delivered. So like, how do you handle such conflict?
Yeah, that is it's not an easy question, definitely. So one thing to keep in mind is that you always need to stay kind of humble and lower your ego, because when you're working with people and like we all have different views and different perspectives, and sometimes like how you see a solution you can either describe it not well enough, or you can be wrong, which is like everyone is wrong sometimes, even the smartest individuals. And sometimes you have to deal with that. Sometimes you have to go into debates. You have to say that someone is wrong, even if it's a founder of a startup, even if it's your CEO. Sometimes you have to say that they are wrong, and you have to do it in a respectful way. But you also need to be like confident in what you're saying, and to do so you need to like know what you're talking about. So if you're a specialist in a certain area, then you can use your knowledge and your experience to not only say something, but also to support it with the examples or with resources or anything. And when you are talking with anyone, you always need to listen carefully, no matter whether it's like your boss or an intern. You should always listen carefully, because good ideas, they come from all places. And yeah, like interns sometimes bring a lot of value because they have this fresh new view of an application or a product. So yeah, listen carefully to everyone you talk to, be respectful. And if you see that there is a conflict between your colleagues, you can also just message them, ask how is it going, like what happened. Just try to be supportive. Don't try to always like engage and support a decision. Just try to support the person and the people. So yeah, be a team player and just foster a healthy culture. So foster healthy debates over conflicts. Always try to support the ideas with sources, and do team building, as well as group meetings when you reflect like over a week or a month, when you just hang out together, talk about certain issues that you have in a company or a team. And yeah, that kind of connects all us together when we share our feelings and ideas.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I must say, I appreciate you being, passionate about people. I remember when you were highlighting your responsibility as a senior software engineer, when you mentioned that, even in spite of the technical roles that you had to, fill in, and you were also interested in the feedback of the users of your product. And even with the conflict resolution, the focus is not on the conflict itself, it's on the people. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that you are managing and working with. All right, thank you for that once again.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go ahead to read some of the questions we have. The first one is from Mubarak, and it says, what challenges did you encounter applying for jobs as a beginner with no professional experience?
Oh yeah, that is one of the hardest things to do. Like when you have no experience, applying to job is very challenging, because we're all familiar with these job offers, like junior entry level, that require like 3 years of experience. But like, where do we get this experience if this is entry level? So yeah, there are a lot of absurd offers there. And how do you get through it? I use some unconventional ways for myself. First of all, things that help is personal projects. So when you don't have any work experience, you can build projects maybe yourself or with a group of friends or like a team, and put those projects on your resume. You can also participate in open source projects. That is also a great thing to put on your resume. For example, if you can contribute to, I don't know, something popular like Linux kernel or any other big open source framework, then that is an amazing way to showcase your knowledge and learnings. For me, when I just finished Computer Science 50 course, I applied to jobs and I was declined. I even got one test that I kind of completed, but I wasn't hired still, because when you finished a course, you kind of have this basic knowledge, like mostly theoretical, but it's like in physics. We're not developing apps in vacuum. We're developing apps in real world. There are many factors, and so during your learning, you need to get as close as possible to what it's like to build real apps. So yeah, try to build your own personal projects. Try to get for your first users, maybe build some app that your friends can use. Build a mobile app and put it on Google Play, get some feedback. Yeah, that's how you get this real life experience, and that's how you can go through the interviews. And as well, yeah, stay focused. It's better to know one tech really well than 10 techs like at a mediocre level.
Okay, all right. So just a follow-up on what you mean by build project. So let's assume that you were to, assume the role of an hiring manager, and then you have to, skim through the resumes that people that are applying to jobs at your company are submitting. What projects would really stand out, like would grab your attention? What's like I would love for you to be a little more specific, like based on your own interest and the things that you think there's a gap, like there are not enough solutions for that kind of a problem. So what projects can one really work on that will stand out, that really gets your attention from the start when you look through the projects of the people that are applying?
Mm-hmm. When we're talking about personal projects, we're of course not talking about something that is like super innovative or anything like that. We're mostly talking about an app that is using technologies that the person has on a resume. So if you say that you're like good at Node.js backend development, then you need to have a project that has, for example, some good API, a database, and you maybe documentation. It's like you need to showcase your ability to use your skills and create an application that our other developers can work with. So you need to projects don't have to be big, they have to be complete, so that I, as a hiring, like as an HR or as a person who is doing a tech interview, so that I can take a look at it and see, yes, this person knows exactly what there is on a resume. This person will be great body to work with because he comments his code. Yeah, if the code is clean, that's also great. So if you're doing a full stack, you should have a full stack app. There's no specific project that you should do. It always depends on what tech you know and work with. So yeah, just again, stay focused and have something that supports your resume. That's what matters. And it's not the amount that matters, but it's the quality of the projects that you do.
The quality of the project. All right. So that's been noted. All right. Thank you. So I'm assuming that when you started, like your work, it wasn't remote at the time, right? So, but we are in the age where everybody has like embraced remote working. So what will you say are the skills that are really necessary for effective and efficient working in the remote conditions that we have all been forced to now work with?
Yeah, I actually started working remotely even before COVID. I started working remotely from April 2019. So it was 2.5 years for me already. And during that time, what I've noticed is that discipline is very important, because at home we have all kinds of distractions. Like we have food to prepare, we have laundry to make, we have trash to take out, and all that kind of stuff. And there is like your TV, there is like YouTube, all these things that you want to do, but you have to stay focused on your work. And so the discipline is great. Like the less decisions you have to make during the day, the better. So I myself plan my day in a way that I start early in the morning at 6 a.m. I go to the gym to start my day, to get energized, because it's very important to keep your health on a decent level, because when you're like working at home, you don't have to commute to work. So you're basically sitting at your desk for 8 hours, and you need to stay healthy. Otherwise you'll get all different problems with your back, for example. So yeah, started the day with a workout. Just a second, sorry. So yeah, I start my day with a workout, and then I continue working. I plan like mostly meetings in the first part of my day, and then maybe coding later. I usually split my day in halves. Like I work, for example, 3 or 4 hours, I take a nap, I go for a walk, then I do a bit more, and that's how I go through my days. Yeah, it's like, don't try to take it all in one sitting. Don't do like 8 hours straight. Take breaks, because it's important for your eyes. And again, we're not doing a sprint, we're on a marathon. So yeah, take care of your health.
Okay. So I like that we are digressing to non-technical perspective. So I would like to ask, like, what do you do to relax? Like, what are your hobbies? Like, what do you use to relieve yourself of stress? Like, your hobbies, really, to just take a break from, like, what are the things you engage yourself into? Just close the laptop down to just relax, and just have a great time.
Oh, that's a really hard question for me, because my hobby is basically what I do at my job. It's like I love developing software. I love to read about tech. I used to do physics on the side. I used to do some rocket science. Yeah, I read a book about that is called The Ignition, which is about rocket fuel. So yeah, I'm kind of doing a bit like physics, astronomy, which is like, it might not be that relaxing, but at least it's like very inspiring. I love sci-fi as well. So yeah, that's what I like to do. To relax, I just sleep and go for a walk in the park. And yeah, I don't really have particular any hobbies. I mean, I do sports from time to time, but nothing particular. That's how I spend my time.
Okay. So, and what are your favorites or your least favorite technology products that you use?
Oh, my favorites, of course, is the language. It's JavaScript. I believe it's an amazing language. Almost no matter what you do, it's like you can do front end, you can do back end, you can do mobile, you can do games, you can do machine learning, and you have one language for everything. So it's very convenient. You can have one language for the entire code base. So like if you're like a full stack JavaScript developer, it's like it's very easy to maintain a team where everyone is JavaScript developers, so that it's like, you know, when it's in a startup, it's very hard to get new people on board, because when like there is one person who knows Swift, then if this person leaves the company, he was alone, nobody can replace him, and so you're like stuck with nobody to fill this role, and so you're like in a panic hiring. So it's very convenient when your team is full in one language, and I believe that JavaScript is great for learning. It's great for small projects like and hackathons. It's great for startups because you can launch your MVP really fast. Like we're talking like month fast. So yeah, that's my favorite language. The least favorite language, I can't say that I actually worked with the language that I would call a least favorite. I worked with great languages. I started with C, then I went to PHP, Python, and yeah, all the languages I used were really great. From the technologies, man, I think that SOAP protocol, that is something I don't like. It's like kind of outdated, especially. So we were building a startup in the electric vehicle market, and there are charging stations that are considered Internet of Things. These big charging stations, they have relatively small microcontrollers. And basically microcontroller is like Raspberry Pi, if you know what it is. If you don't, it's like a very small computer with like one core, a little bit of memory, and usually not a strong internet. So when you communicate between charging stations, you want to use the minimum amount of data. And SOAP is a protocol that sends like a huge payloads, which can be easily substituted with JSON. And that's why I don't like SOAP.
All right. You seem like a very interesting person. All right.
Yeah.
So, Roman, thank you very much. It was so nice to, have you speak to us from your experience. Thank you very much for your time. So, in the absence of any other questions from the people who are here with us, so I'd like to call on Bolo to kindly end this section with a vote of thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for great questions. Thank you for coming to this event. Thank you for making it.
Thank you, sir. Bolo? Okay. So in the event that Bolo is not around, Ruth, could you kindly please do us the honor of like ending this session for us with a vote of thanks? I'm not sure Bolo is still in this call. Ruth. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on. All right. So nonetheless, really, it was really great like having this nice chat with you. Timmy, would you like to, kindly help us wrap up?
Yeah, Roman, it was nice having you here. It was great to tap from your well of knowledge. Very interesting stories you have, and I'm very sure that we all learned a lot of fun stuff from you as well. We hope to be able to keep in touch. We have your LinkedIn profile, Roman, so I guess definitely we're most definitely going to be keeping in touch with you. But we say a big thank you for joining us. We hope to hear from you soon. More of our programs are going to be going out to Berlin as well as other cities, so definitely we'd love to have you on board for those programs as well. So thank you very much for joining us. I really, really appreciate your time.
Awesome. So thank you for the kind words. Thank you for doing this again. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day. Have a nice day,
Have a
everyone.
great day.